Welcome back. Well, I figured an easy way to explain the syllabus is obviously having you read it so you know exactly what to expect in this course. But I also want to go over it because I would do this in a face-to-face class. I would do this in a Zoom class. And so what I'm going to do here is share the screen with you and show you what to expect this semester when it comes to MEA 100. Here is a look at your syllabus. You can, of course, find this in your Canvas module. It'll be listed under syllabus, and you can also probably reach it through your course module through week 1. I'll also upload a copy so that if you need to actually download a copy so that you have a hard copy of it, you can do that as well. If for some reason you can't find the syllabus and have any other further questions, of course, by all means, feel free to reach out. But I figured I would go over this right now to kind of, hopefully this will answer some questions for you. So obviously you're an MEA 100, Mass Media and Society. This is a 100% online course. There is my contact information for spring, my instructor contact, that is my cell phone. And you are certainly welcome to reach out to me. I prefer text messaging. And if you're going to text me, please include your name in the text so I know who I'm talking to. If you happen to be, for example, on campus for any other class and, want to come by and talk face-to-face, two good times there are 12:30 on Tuesdays or Thursdays. I'm also here pretty much Monday through Friday. So if another time works for you that's better, we can always work that out, certainly by you reaching out. And then, of course, the other way we can do it is through Zoom. I have a link right there to my office hours. So what I will likely do on Tuesdays and Thursdays is, hop on Zoom like I am now, and then you guys can always can join in progress. But again, there's a lot of different ways in which to meet me, and I'm very accessible, I must say. Email. Either email works. If you want to just email me directly, that davebrill7@gmail.com works very effectively. But if you send that to my Canyons email, that email gets forwarded hopefully to my Gmail. Normally it does, but anyway, yeah. We also have a website, canyonsnews.com. It's not my own personal website, but what it is that we have, I run the journalism program here at COC and in the MEA department. And basically this is where our student content gets published too. You can also find a lot of our good stuff if you are a YouTuber, of course, and you search Canyons News on YouTube. You can find stuff there. I'll probably even share some stuff with you as we go through the semester at some point. All right, official course description. This surveys mass communication by examining the interrelationships between media and society and by defining the history, structures, trends, and technologies of mass media content, including print, radio, television, film, digital media, and the internet. It's quite a mouthful, right? So basically, we're going to be going over a number of different topics in media this semester. And I basically do kind of two things with each. One is I kind of give you the contemporary view, which sometimes will include statistics or influence. And then, of course, we have the historical view, because I think it's critically important that if you're going to study media, that you understand how we got to certain points of media, and that includes all of it. So just keep that in mind. One thing I will say here, a lot of this you can read on your own, but I do want to read this part. You will be required to not only read assigned materials, but to discuss some of the content of daily newscasts, new media web pages, news articles, and other media-related sources, as well as the assigned reading materials. So one thing when we get to grading, I'll explain, is that every week you are going to have something due that proves to me that you're actually engaging with media. Because if you're not engaging with media, then this class is kind of pointless. So I'll explain that as we get there. Now, you can read about the content for the intro course. It's in a modular fashion, meaning that every week we're going to be, or every other week, depending on the topic, on the size of the topic, we're going to be introducing something new that you guys will be studying. I'll be going over that here shortly in the schedule down below. But basically what you're seeing here in this very, very large paragraph is essentially course objectives. That's straight from the curriculum, but feel free to read that on your own. But just know that we're going to be covering a lot of different forms of media And it's cultural influence, political influence, social influence. There's a lot to it. All right. As for your student learning outcome, or SLO, at the conclusion of this course, you'll be able to analyze the relationship between media and society and how it affects form and content in mass communication. I suspect when we get done 17 weeks from now in this online course that you'll have a better idea basically of how to sort of identify media, identify its power and its relationship with not only other forms of media, but obviously with hopefully with you. So that's the goal. All right. Now your textbook is right here. It's called Media and Culture. It's the 12th edition. It's by Richard Campbell. It is available in the COC bookstore as well as other vendors and on the internet. I would also recommend, since you're online, and I'll say this to my students who are in person this semester, you can go to a website called vitalsource.com, and for about $48, you can rent the textbook for 120 days. Now, I am recording this in mid-January, and so technically, if I were to sign up today, my subscription would run out May 18th. So if you wait until basically right before we meet the first week of school, or during the first week of school, your 120 days should easily carry you through the entire semester. And for $48, I think that's a bargain, because I know that at one point, brand new, these things were, over $100 plus, which I just think is ridiculous. But anyway, but critical thing is make sure you have your book, right? Because there's going to be reading assignments beginning with the first week of the spring 2022 semester that will be incorporated in your quizzes, your midterm, and your final, and you're going to need it as a resource. So it's very important, right? So there's only one textbook. You'll need to read roughly half of it during the semester. You'll also definitely need it and your notes to do well in both the midterm and final exam. All right. Let me give you some other issues so that you understand. I reserve the right to alter, change, or delete the assignments and requirements with advance notice. This is an online course, so it will be pretty straightforward as to how we approach things every week. It's, it'll be paced, your learning. In other words, I'm going to be breaking out a lot of the concepts into different, into different YouTube videos. And so it's up to you how much you want to absorb, say, in one day or 3 days or 4 days. But just know, if I find, a third of the way through the semester that maybe we need, to take an extra week for some material, I might do that. I also have been known to, talk to a guest lecturer. Now, in this case, because we're online, it might just be that I added a video of me talking to someone in media, and then, figuring out where to kind of place that. So anyway, since we're not meeting in person, students are required to, required to regularly check Canvas for course announcements. Okay, Canvas is a big deal. Assignments, discussion forums, tests, quizzes, and all all due dates. Okay, so make sure that you're on top of that. I'm going to literally put a video out every, you're probably going to see it on a Sunday. At some point on a Sunday. I can't guarantee a certain time, but I'm going to aim to do it on a Sunday where it'll explain everything that's happening the following week in Canvas. You're welcome to click on that, and hopefully that will help with remembering some of the dates when they're due. All right. I do use something called modules. I'll explain that in my first Canvas explanation in another video. But I use what's called a modules tab in Canvas, and that is a really clean way of you being able to go in there and figure out every week what is due. So you don't have to go looking, in 19 places for things. We may be viewing media materials that are of adult subject matter, graphic in nature, and are rated R by the MPAA. This is a college class. I might have a link on YouTube to an R-rated scene from a movie, or there might be some kind of, material that we go over that has some kind of, it might be provocative in nature. I just need to make sure that you guys are aware of that. but I'm never going to put anything out there that is going to be what I consider completely inappropriate. That's not how I roll. All right. You are expected to regularly monitor all forms of media, including live and multimedia newscasts or news stories, sporting events, entertainment shows, most of which can be found on the internet and social media, as well as radio and film. So the world's your oyster when it comes to media, and I'm talking about all things media. That includes video games, by the way. You will have a weekly assignment to ensure you're actively engaging, and I'm going to stick to that. Check out the ad drop dates, kind of critically important, right? If you've got a friend who is looking for another class, they can be made through February 20th. You can drop without a W on your transcript February 20th. And by the way, speaking of that dropping with a W in your transcript, I know sometimes students get a little, late in the semester. You're like, oh man, I'm falling behind. What do I do? Well, you do have the option of withdrawing up until May 7th from this course. I sure hope you don't, but if you do, it's not the end of the earth. I actually had to do that in French my freshman year of college at the University of Colorado, and it was no one's asked me about it now, right? 30 years later. So anyway. Okay, as with any issues in this class, contact me with questions or comments you may have, especially when it comes to drops and ads. If you just stop doing your work and I don't see anything coming in, being submitted weeks over time, I'm likely going to drop you. So, or if it's late in the semester, you're just going to get an F. So make sure you stay on top of stuff. All right. So if you choose to drop the class, it's up to you. You can read all about that. I would just summarize this by saying, if you really are kind of struggling to keep up with the class or just need some extra help, please reach out, talk to me. I'm a human being. I'm not just someone on a computer. I'm not a bot, right? So I'm not a bot and I don't bite. I should put that there, right? All right. Participation policy and grading. Okay. Regular student participation to the course Canvas shell is important. I also expect you to participate in class discussion topics. Now, I know because we're 100% online and it's all done virtually, that means that when I have an expectation that along with turning in your weekly discussion topic about media, that you're also responding to other student postings, okay? That is built into that assignment. That's critical. If this was an actual classroom, I would be leaning on you to hold your hand up and speak, right? But that's not the case when we're 100% online. So you're going to have to basically prove to me that you're into this class virtually. All right. There are no makeups for quizzes or exams, regardless of excuse. Okay. You will have a 48-hour window on Canvas to take all quizzes, midterm, and final. Okay. So in this case, what will happen is midterm and final and quiz weeks, those will be opened up later in the week. And then you'll have a finite amount of time to take it. So just know that if you blow through that 48-hour window, I can't help you. Okay. Now, I have had an instance where a student has been in the middle of a quiz or exam and something has happened. Like, for example, Canvas goes wacko. That happened this past fall. If it's something that's out of your control, you need to immediately get a hold of me and let me know what that is. But in general, I've heard all sorts of excuses, guys. I have my radar on. The fact is unless it's something that's the college or the program does, right? It's up to you to make sure that you finish within those 48 hours. Okay. Now, only extenuating circumstance, if you are in the hospital, say with COVID, you have a death in the family, a zombie apocalypse. Okay. Then I will allow you to take the midterm or final within 2 business days of the original exam date. But it's up to you to make sure that if this happens, that you reach out to me immediately and then we talk. Okay. Taking a vacation, you're in Cancun, right? And you've got wonky internet, that's your gamble. Plain and simple. Don't go to Cancun during your midterm or final or a quiz. So be careful. All right. And test anxiety, not valid excuses. Okay. As for homework and discussion boards, both will be assigned through Canvas. It is your responsibility to note when deadline for online submission will be. I do not accept late work, okay? And again, take a look at those extenuating circumstances. I'm very, very much into that. And by the way, locust infestation, good excuse. Just kidding. All right. Grading, pretty simple. It's pretty standard, right? 90 to 100%, 80, 89%, 70 to 79%, below 60% is an F. The next question I would get if I'm reading your mind is, well, what if I have an 89.55? What happens then? Well, technically you have a B, but if you are, I will say that if, I don't see, if you have a lot of missing assignments or missing quizzes or periodic discussion turn-ins, and sometimes you're not, I don't have a tendency to go high. I stay where you're at. If you're showing me that you actually have really kind of taken this class to heart, I do have a tendency when you are super close to reward participation. Read between the lines on that one. Okay, opening week. Here are your basic assignments coming up here. There's an opening week assignment with this in the week 1 Canvas module, along with a syllabus quiz, right? These are an easy way to earn points. Okay, you also every week, and which will be 10 points, weekly media participation. Okay, so again, if you decide to not do that, that actually is that 75 to 90 points is actually incorrect, guys. That actually, if you add that up, that's going to be more likely 160 points. So I'm going to change that right now because that is incorrect. So there's a very good chance that 150 to 160 points will be part of your weekly media participation, right? So that's a significant part of your grade. Quizzes, 15 points per quiz, approximately 4 to 5 quizzes. So we'll say, give or take, about 60 points. Homework, you're going to have 2 assignments. Each of those assignments is worth 50 points. So that's approximately 100 points of your grade is going to be homework assignments. Don't miss those. You have 2 discussion forum. We'll have 2 assignments, right? One is basically around the time that we start discussing social media. I've got a great film for you to watch on Netflix that I want you to, kind of not only comment on, but comment on other people's comments, right? And then later on, we're going to have a discussion forum when we get through the journalism side of things, probably in May, where you are going to have to basically identify a critical story or a story that was critical to you. I'll explain that when we get there in that module sometime in May. Obviously, midterm and final are also 100 points, right? So you can see that there's a fair amount of points on the board, okay? And some, I get asked about extra credit. There will be an opportunity to earn extra credit. I have an all extra credit assignment that actually happens late in the semester. And quite honestly, there might be some stuff that I build into the quizzes where you get an opportunity for extra credit points. Okay. Now, remember, this is an estimation of coursework. It could be modified, but that's pretty much where we're going to be for now. All right. As for your weekly learning objectives and schedule, right? Again, subject to modification. Please note all your material will be required viewing on Canvas, including lectures, assignment, and discussion topics. So one thing I'm going to do is you're going to be, I have a YouTube channel that I will share with you on Canvas. And you guys, you will find everything that I do from a lecture standpoint will be on video. So it's part of my, this is kind of my first dive into 100% online class, but I think it's still critical that you hear from me when I'm going through these lectures, as opposed to just kind of looking at at a text. You can do that anywhere. So just know that when we get into these weekly things, my plan is to break down everything into shorter videos on my YouTube channel so that you guys can click on it. And then if you need to, take notes. There will also be, by the way, PowerPoints that will be attached in every Canvas module every time we get to a new chapter, so you can follow along. All right. So how about it? Let's roll through this real quick. So Obviously, this is the first week of class here in the second week of February. We are going to be talking about chapter 1 in the textbook this week, which chapter 1, by the way, just for fun, is called, hold on, don't have it off the top of my head. Chapter 1 is called Mass Communication, a Critical Approach. I suppose I could have looked at it right there. It was in front of me, right? But we're going to be talking about all the different eras this week in terms of the print revolution, electronic era, digital era, linear model of mass communication. We're getting into media convergence, which is, basically you're going to hear the term convergence quite a bit this semester. Storytelling. What's up with storytelling? Why does that relate to media? Well, we'll explain that. And then we'll wrap it up with, culture is kind of a map of a skyscraper. All right. And that's kind of fun because I'll explain what lives on the top floor of the skyscraper versus the bottom floor. Okay. Next week, we get into chapter 2, which is the internet, digital media convergence. There's that convergence word, right? And we're going to talk all about not just the history of the internet, the development of the internet, but the fact is how to develop, how to evolve. Now that we're in social media, what does that mean? What about the economics of the internet? It's, as you know, we're an online society now, more so than ever, particularly now. It's probably even grown exponentially because of obviously COVID-19 over the past 2 years. And there'll be a discussion topic that will be going with chapter 2. My goal is to give you guys 2 weeks, basically, 2 weeks to essentially get through chapter 2 because it's such a big chapter. All right. When we get to week 4, we're going to talk about digital gaming and the media playground, right? Video gaming, right? In fact, just heard yesterday that Microsoft just bought out Activision for like $68 billion in cash. So those are the kinds of things we're going to be talking about when we get to chapter 3. In week 5, we'll get into sound recording, popular music. By the way, you'll notice that there are quizzes that periodically pop up. We'll have a quiz, by the way, in the module 4, week 4, on chapter 1 and 2. That'll be a combination. And then in week 5, after we get through sound recording and popular music, which, by the way, is a lot of fun, we'll have another quiz. We get into radio mid-March, right? Radio, extremely important part of our, obviously media history, instant communication in a sense, right? The earliest form. And there'll be a homework assignment around popular radio. It includes podcasting, which is kind of fun. And you can see that we'll be finishing radio in week 7. So again, a kind of an involved chapter that I want to spend more than just 1 week on, because I think it's a lot of material to absorb in 1 week. So I'll be, probably giving it to you all at the beginning of module 6 and making sure that you have, time to finish it over that 2-week stretch. Right before spring break, we'll get into television and cable. Needless to say, television still a big dog. We may not be watching network television. We may be avoiding cable like the plague, especially your generation. But I can tell you that you guys are probably absorbing a lot of Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, whatever, HBO Max, ESPN Plus on your television, right? I know I do. All right, spring break is week 9, and then post spring break, we're going to get into film, one of my favorite topics, right? I might be a journalism guy, but I also happen to love film. And one of the things that we do around talking about film, along with its impact, not just like across the globe, but here in Santa Clarita, is I also get into talking about documentary filmmaking, which I think is a really good combination of the narrative style of film and obviously the journalistic, the aspects of journalism that I so love. It's kind of a combination of it. So we'll actually be screening a documentary. I'll be giving you a link to it, and of course, give you time in which to watch the documentary. And then obviously your homework is going to be based on that. Excuse me. Week 12, we're going to get into journalism. Now, I have a combination of journalism between chapter 14 and 8, basically talking about not just why journalism is important, what makes something newsworthy, But we also talk about newspapers, right? Because newspapers are a big part of journalism history. So that's kind of a combo chapter that'll be dominating our conversation, our Canvas modules, your class over probably the end of April into early to mid-May. And then a couple other topics before we call it a semester. We can't not talk about media without the power of books and books and the power of print. Books still absolutely remain a huge part of media. And then, of course, we will wrap it up with the advertising and commercial culture. There is a extra credit assignment based on something that when we talk about advertising. And then the final week, all you have to worry about in week 17 is I will have a final exam review on one video, and then so you can watch that video, and then of course take the final exam, and that'll be that. So anyway, if you have any questions about the syllabus, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. Remember, at the top of the syllabus is all my contact information. Conduct, you guys can read this on your own. All right, extra credit will be given instructor consent. Let's see, one of the things that I might share with you is a link on Canvas of what we do here in MEA. If you don't know what MEA is, it stands for Media Entertainment Arts. I'm very much a part of this department, and it's a very cool department. And so maybe in a separate video, I will, you guys can take a look at what MEA is. But we have a bunch of courses in MEA, right? Animation courses, film courses, journalism courses, and sound arts courses. I certainly hope that as you guys get interested in media this semester, I know you're all online, don't know if you're taking any other classes here at COC, don't even know if you live in Santa Clarita, but if you do, and you want to come back to campus certainly next fall, there'll be lots of choices. We also have some choices on campus this fall. So if you have anything you still need to fill out your schedule, please reach out. You can read about all the management of stress and mental health here. That's critically important. Mental health really becoming a big part of our society, and I totally understand it. We have a great mental health program here and a great team here at COC. You can click on that link right there, the hyperlink if you need any help. There's also a national suicide hotline number. Listen, if you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that's going on, class, COVID, life, whatever, don't hesitate to reach out to somebody. It's critically important. All right, so that's your syllabus, guys. And again, happy that you're here. And obviously, take a look at the other video that will actually go through the week 1 Canvas module. You can click on that as well. And again, any other questions throughout the semester, there's my contact information. It's also going to be at the top of your screen when you log into Canvas. I'm glad you're here. Look forward to an exciting semester. Talk to you soon.